A fearful husband sneaks into a forbidden garden at twilight, desperate to steal glowing green herbs for his sickly wife. He lands in the soft earth, but a tall shadow rises to meet him. The powerful witch demands a cruel payment for the stolen plants, the couple's newborn child. She claims the baby, names her Rapunzel, and takes her deep into the dark woods. When Rapunzel turns 12, the witch seals her inside a high stone tower with no stairs and no door. Completely isolated, Rapunzel sings to comfort her lonely heart. Her voice floats through the forest and eventually catches the attention of a wandering young prince who tracks the sound to her hidden prison. The prince begins visiting in secret every evening. Unable to reach the ground safely, Rapunzel asks him to bring pieces of bright blue and shiny silver silk, which she begins to weave into a long, sturdy ladder. Every strand of blue and silver is a calculated step toward the ground. By constructing their own exit, may turn the tower from a permanent prison into a temporary obstacle. A single careless sentence destroys their plan. Rapunzel casually asks the witch why she is so much heavier to pull up than the king's son, instantly exposing the secret. The witch retaliates with merciless efficiency. Cold iron shears snip through Rapunzel's glowing golden braids, and she is dragged away to a desolate wasteland. Returning that evening, the prince climbs up the severed hair, only to face the witch. Overcome with horror at the loss of his bride, he falls from the high window into a thicket of dark thorns that instantly pierce and blind his eyes. Both are now cast into complete darkness, violently separated and left entirely alone in a world they were never taught to navigate. A single timeline splits into two diverging paths, separating the protagonists, one leading into a freezing wasteland, the other a thorny forest. Looking closely at the wasteland path, Rapunzel refuses to surrender. She gathers what she can find and constructs a shelter. In the dead of a brutal winter, she gives birth to twins. She raises them in the freezing cold, finding ways to survive where nothing seems to grow. She anchors her children to a father they have never met by telling them stories of his bravery, keeping his memory alive in the daily routine of their survival. Rapunzel doesn't just wait for a rescue. She survives. She transforms a dead wasteland into a place where life actually thrives. Meanwhile, the blinded prince is stumbling through a dense, dark forest as heavy snow falls. His condition is severe. For years, he wanders in inescapable darkness, surviving on wild roots and frozen berries as the seasons relentlessly change. He keeps walking, guided only by the cold wind and the unwavering belief that Rapunzel is still alive somewhere beyond the trees. Neither waits for magical rescue. They choose the grueling work, moving closer, step by step. Eventually, the prince wanders near the edge of the wasteland. Carried on the cold wind, he catches a faint, familiar melody, the same song he first heard at the stone tower years ago. Rapunzel looks up from her work and recognizes his ragged form. She runs across the sharp gray stones and throws her arms around his neck. As she weeps, two warm, glowing silver tears fall into his unseeing eyes, instantly clearing the darkness and restoring his sight. The darkness leaves his eyes because the search is finally over. The years they spent walking toward each other in the dark have finally led back to the light. Reunited, the family begins the long journey back to the prince's kingdom, permanently leaving the gray stones and the witch's cruelty behind them. In the royal garden, Rapunzel plants green rampion every year. She transforms the plant from a symbol of her family's original tragedy into a living monument of what they survived. Deep in the woods, the doorless tower remains standing. Overgrown with vines, it serves as a silent stone memory of the trials they overcame. The tower stands empty and silent now. It's a reminder that while walls can be built high, they are never quite tall enough to keep the world out forever.